My name is Kirk Marley with Dovetail Planning. I'd like to speak today about orphan policies. And so a little background, life insurance agents have a very high attrition rate. When they start the business, they have a 90% chance of being out of the business inside of 5 years. And so if you think about all of the life insurance agents nationally, there are thousands and thousands, and they're all writing life insurance policies, trying to make it through their first part of their career, which is sometimes the hardest. And many of them don't make it, and therefore the policies they've written don't have an agent attached to them. And the companies, if you go to a company and ask them for advice in structuring or what the ramifications of a certain type of ownership is, or who should be the beneficiary, revocable living trust, or my business, or my wife, or my kids, they're not going to get any advice. They're not actually even allowed to give you advice. And so not having an agent is a detriment, and there's no additional expense to having an agent. And so what I've done with my clients and with other people's clients or with orphan policies that are part of a company, life insurance company, but don't have an agent assigned, is I've asked people to let me become their agent so I could offer them some service. And so you might ask, what service really is needed in a life insurance contract? Well, I like to compare a life insurance contract to owning an apartment complex. Let's say you have a $2 million life insurance policy, and we compare that to a $2 million apartment complex. Let's say it's a sixplex. If you own that apartment complex, maybe once a year, maybe once every couple of years at the minimum, you'd go by that apartment complex and make sure the sidewalks aren't cracked, or that the paint isn't falling off, or the roof isn't leaking, because it's worth $2 million. And so in my career, I've delivered 65 death claims. And so I am convinced, as you should be if you own life insurance, that it is worth its face value. If you have a $2 million death benefit, that is actually the amount of money, as long as the policy is in force when you die, that comes to your heirs and helps solve those problems that for which purpose you bought the contract. So maintaining a contract and understanding its benefits is not a given. It does require some maintenance. If it's a permanent insurance contract, you have a lot of variables in that contract, including dividends, paid or not paid, assumed or not assumed. You have interest rates, you have internal costs inside the policy, increasing or decreasing mortality charges that come out monthly. And so there's a lot of things that could happen to that contract and that need to be monitored, just like monitoring your apartment complexes would be important. And so what an agent will do is like myself, is I will take over that contract. There's no expense, no charge, and I will make sure that it is going to perform the way you want it to perform. Also, then there's the structuring aspect, which oftentimes, if you're looking if you have a corporate-owned insurance contract sold to you post 2006, then there's some 101J compliance obligations you have for corporate-owned insurance that can otherwise render your insurance death benefit taxable to the entity. So there are things that need to be discussed. If it's term insurance, you may have conversion privileges that you're not aware of. And if you don't, you may want to have conversion privileges in a contract. So there's a discussion to be had. So if you have bought a life insurance contract and that person is no longer part of your advisor team, I'd love to be of assistance. And you should take advantage of that, because that assistance is needed to make sure that that death benefit is paid the way that you want it to be paid.